Are electric vehicles truly as green as they seem? While they promise cleaner air and reduced emissions, the journey from mining to disposal raises serious human rights concerns. Let's dive into the hidden issues behind EVs and explore how we can make their life cycle more ethical and responsible. Behind the shiny promise of environmentally friendly cars lies a less glamorous reality. From the mining of raw materials like lithium and cobalt to the impacts in communities near these resources, there are significant human and environmental costs. Examining the life cycle of an EV reveals human rights concerns at every stage. To ensure the EV industry aligns with a truly sustainable and fair future, we must address these issues and advocate for responsible practices. To understand the broader impact of EVs, we need to look at how they're made, starting with the raw materials. EV batteries, which power the vehicles, need specific minerals like cobalt, lithium, and nickel. These minerals are mostly mined in places like the Democratic Republic of Congo for cobalt and South America for lithium. Mining isn't just about digging up rocks, it's a process that can deeply affect the people and land around it. For instance, in the DRC, cobalt mining often involves child labor. Amnesty International has reported on children as young as 7 working in dangerous conditions to collect cobalt. With little to no protective gear, these young workers are exposed to harmful dust, physical injuries, and other hazards. These cobalt mines rely on artisanal mining, small-scale, often informal work that doesn't offer the safety measures you'd expect from large operations. While some companies have policies against child labor, it's difficult to ensure these rules are followed in such remote, informal settings. But what about lithium? Isn't it just another mineral? Lithium extraction mainly happens in South America, in areas like Chile's Atacama Desert, where lithium is pumped from underground salt brines. This process needs a lot of water that local communities depend on for drinking and farming. In some cases, up to 65% of the region's water is redirected to lithium extraction, leaving less for local farmers and households. For the indigenous communities living near these sites, the loss of water isn't just a nuisance, it's a threat to their livelihood and culture. Many indigenous groups have a deep connection to their land and water sources. So when these resources are depleted or polluted, it affects their way of life in ways that go beyond economics. Now, you might wonder, can't EV companies just be more responsible about where they get their materials? In theory, yes. Companies like Tesla and Apple have announced commitments to ethical sourcing, promising not to buy minerals linked to human rights abuses. However, in practice, it's incredibly tough to trace every bit of material back to its origin. EV batteries often rely on global supply chains where minerals change hands multiple times before reaching the final product. This complexity makes it hard for companies to guarantee that every step of the process is abuse-free. And while some companies use certification programs to improve transparency, these systems aren't foolproof. Without rigorous oversight, many abuses remain hidden from view, and companies may not be fully aware of what's happening at the mining level. Once the minerals are mined, they're processed and put into EV batteries. But this part of the process brings its own set of challenges. In regions where batteries are manufactured, especially in countries with lax labor laws, workers often face long hours, low pay, and unsafe working conditions. Factories in these areas may not have strict health and safety regulations, meaning that workers are more exposed to risks like toxic chemicals and intense heat. For example, in China, a major producer of battery components manufacturing plants have been criticized for releasing pollutants into the environment, affecting air quality for the surrounding communities. This pollution doesn't just impact factory workers, it extends to entire neighborhoods, causing respiratory issues and other health problems for residents. Are there any benefits to EVs that help offset these human and environmental costs? It's true that once an EV is on the road, it emits less carbon dioxide than a traditional gas-powered car. But even here, there are complexities. EVs need to be charged, and this power often comes from the local electricity grid. In places where electricity comes from renewable sources, like wind or solar, this is fantastic. But in areas where coal or natural gas powers the grid, the environmental benefits of EVs can be lower than expected. Moreover, as more people buy EVs, the demand for electricity goes up, putting strain on local power grids. For communities already facing energy shortages, this demand can worsen access to reliable power, making it harder for low-income households to afford or access electricity. Another issue with EVs that doesn't get enough attention is what happens at the end of their life cycle. When an EV battery wears out, it needs to be disposed of, but the materials inside are far from harmless. If batteries aren't properly recycled, they can leak harmful chemicals into the ground and water. Right now, the infrastructure for recycling EV batteries is still developing, so many end up as waste. In some places, improper disposal can lead to soil and water contamination, harming the local environment and, by extension, the health of the community. So, why do these human rights and environmental concerns often get overlooked in the conversation about EVs? One reason is that the spotlight tends to focus on their environmental benefits, specifically their role in reducing emissions. This green image is a big selling point for consumers and investors, making it easy to ignore the less appealing aspects of EV production. Many people simply aren't aware of the backstory of their electric cars, and the narrative around EVs often prioritizes their climate impact over labor and human rights abuses. It's also worth noting that EVs are a fast-evolving technology, with companies and governments investing heavily in development and rollout. This rapid pace means that the industry sometimes prioritizes technical progress and green credentials over ethical sourcing and fair labor practices. Media coverage and consumer demand further shapes the story, often highlighting the eco-friendly benefits of EVs while overlooking the ethical costs. When EVs are featured in ads or news stories, the emphasis is almost always on emissions reduction, leaving out the broader picture of where materials come from or how they affect workers and communities. This limited portrayal simplifies the issue, making it easy to assume that buying an EV is an all-around positive choice without downsides. And with the complexity of global supply chains, tracing every part of an EV back to its source is difficult, making transparency a challenge even for companies trying to make ethical choices. But are there steps we can take to improve the EV industry and reduce these negative impacts? Fortunately, yes. Some companies are starting to explore a circular economy approach, which focuses on recycling and reusing materials to minimize waste and reduce the need for new mining. By developing better battery recycling technologies, we can reclaim valuable minerals like lithium and cobalt, reducing the demand for fresh extraction. This approach could not only lessen environmental damage, but also decrease the burden on communities affected by mining. In the long run, recycling infrastructure will need to expand significantly to handle the growing number of EVs reaching the end of their life cycles. There are also efforts to create fair trade certification programs for minerals, similar to those for coffee or chocolates, to ensure that workers are fairly treated and child labor is not used. These programs are still in the early stages, but they leave the potential to increase accountability and help consumers make informed choices. Moreover, advancements in battery technology like the development of solid-state batteries may eventually reduce our reliance on cobalt and lithium, lessening the pressure on regions where these minerals are mined. In addition to corporate responsibility, governments play a crucial role in enforcing ethical standards. Policies like the European Union's Conflict Minerals Regulation, which requires companies to trace and responsibly source minerals, are steps in the right direction. However, stronger regulations and oversight are needed globally to ensure these standards are met consistently. Consumers too have power, and by staying informed and supporting companies that prioritize ethical sourcing, we can push the industry toward more sustainable and responsible practices. All of this brings us back to a central question. Can we truly call EVs green if their production harms people and communities? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. EVs undoubtedly reduce emissions compared to gas-powered cars, helping to fight climate change, which benefits us all. But for EVs to genuinely represent a sustainable solution, the industry needs to balance environmental benefits with human rights. This means prioritizing fair labor practices, investing in transparent supply chains, and supporting the communities affected by mining and manufacturing. In conclusion, while electric cars and vehicles offer a promising path to reduce carbon emissions and address climate change, the road to a truly ethical and sustainable EV industry is filled with challenges. From the mines of the DRC to lithium fields in South America, the human cost of producing these green machines is real and significant. The industry is beginning to take steps to address these issues, but more needs to be done. For consumers, awareness is a powerful tool. What are your views on this? Do let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our latest updates. We'll see you guys next time.